Hello and welcome to this wonderful afternoon chat I'm having with this friend of mine called Kashish. And she has been teaching languages to people in her area and picked up teaching off late, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Kashish?
Yeah, I teach languages to people and there is no age barrier to learning. So yeah, I can teach anybody who's interested in it.
Okay. So actually, when I was thinking about this, I have a question regarding this. How do you differentiate between one student to another when you're teaching, in terms of um, how do you look at them if they are not from the normal academic background, and if you're
Mhm.
teaching languages to them, how do you approach it?
See, number one, I have to look where they're coming from and how much they know about a certain topic. See, I'll only be able to add to it if I know about the student. So I try to know them better, or maybe not their academic background, or maybe just their background, where they come from, or what their family looks like. So with that, I think I'm able to connect with them more, and hence I can teach better.
Okay. Do they come specifically with a problem, or do you approach them? How does this work for you?
So, see, in a town where I live, the majority people are over here are Sindhi. So, Sindhis have a problem with Marathi.
Okay.
They do not understand it, majorly because nobody in their house knows it.
Hmm.
And for me, it is like my grandmother used to be a principal of a Marathi school.
Oh.
Yeah, this is passed down to generations now. So
Okay.
the principal, hence I know a lot of Marathi, a good Marathi. So, when kids come to me, they do have a problem. They have the specific problem that they cannot even get passing marks with it.
Ah, this is interesting. We have a common thread. My grandfather used to be the principal of a Sindhi school, which is
Okay.
now a Marathi school.
Wow.
uh, I think one of the things, now that we connect on this, that comes to mind is this love of books and language and words, what they mean. Uh, do you think language is a barrier, or language is a good communication thread?
See, communication can happen without language also.
Yeah.
There is non-verbal communication also, but you see, with language we're able to connect to each other more. Language has different tools with which we can enhance it and we can express ourselves better. So yes, definitely language has to play a major role in communication.
Okay, as a writer, I'm asking you this question again, but from a different angle. Sometimes I find people use words when they don't mean them at all. And I find that, in fact, this morning I was thinking on this, that words are invested with meaning. So if I'm talking to you, I may be fumbling, but if I have my heart in the right place, I'm trying to say something, there are chances that I'll land up communicating with you.
Yes,
And
100%.
on the other hand, sometimes I may be flamboyant with language, I may use big words, but I may not mean a thing. And somehow you sense it that this guy is not trying to communicate anything, he's just talking in the air. So, do you think words need to be seen more carefully? What is your take on that?
See, whenever you speak, you have to speak with your whole mind. There is a difference between speaking your mind and spitting out random words. You have to, whenever you speak, you have to make complete sense out of it. And sometimes, even when even you have to be very careful with grammar. See, when grammar is not correct, one sentence can mean another. In Marathi we say arthacha anartha hotoy. It
Yeah.
means something and then it happens something else. The other person might not see it the same way as you do. And if it is the big words, I don't really think they're important. As long as I can explain something to you in simple and layman's terms, then I really don't need big words and fancy languages.
Okay. Have you ever encountered people who love big words but are not really interested in getting to the meaning of it? I'm saying because as a writer, I come across a lot of people who have writing styles which are actually meaning nothing, but they use words like in the song Anthony Gonzalez.
You see, with social media nowadays, with a lot of information that people are seeing, people
Yeah.
see new words. And since they're seeing new words, they want to use them without knowing the true meaning of the words. And since I am also a teenager who uses a lot of social media, when I see those people in real life, then I actually know, okay, yeah, this person is like that and they did not mean that.
Okay, this wasn't in my mind, but yeah, this is a good. I have a teenage daughter who educates me on this means this and this means this, and is surprised when I know something. So she's like, okay, you're cool now. So, um, okay, another thing that I want to know is, according to you, what are the barriers to learning? This could be about language or any other subject, but as a teacher, what do you think are the major barriers to learning?
In today's date and time, the major barrier to learning is a child's interest. And second thing could be the parents' interest. What happens is, see, if I give a child homework and the child is not doing their homework, for once I'll give him punishment, second time I'll give him punishment. But the third time I try contacting the parent. See, if I am teaching something over here and I am giving you homework, you should do it. But parents also make up excuses, or they, try to cover their child or they cite their child. And when parents do that, then even kids are like, okay, yeah, if my parent is only not interested in educating me, why should I study?
Ah,
Or sometimes I came across this case where I had given homework, but the homework was done by the parent, just to just so that their child gets away with the punishment. They did not want their child to be punished, so they did the homework for their child, and that is very wrong.
okay. One of the things that I see in big cities is this pressure on kids as far as learning something is concerned. So, in a way, they are more concerned about getting the right marks, like this last parent that you mentioned. That punishment or not doesn't matter, the lesson or not doesn't matter. We need
Exactly.
to get to the point where this kid passes and gets his whatever school education, college education, and gets out ticking the right boxes.
Exactly.
As a teacher, what do you have to say about this trend? And
This
also as a student.
breaks my heart. Right, I am a student also, but this breaks my heart since people are not interested in actual knowledge. They are not interested in how something happens and why something happens. They are just interested in, दीदी ये क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में आएगा कि नहीं आएगा. अगर ये क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में आएगा तो ही पढ़ेंगे, नहीं आएगा तो नहीं पढ़ेंगे.
So, and as a student, have you ever felt the pressure of conforming to a certain result or a certain standard of education, irrespective of whether you understood?
I always strive to do my best. Like, I am not a student who scores 95 percentage, but I am a student who gets good marks between 80 to 90, 80, 85, 86. I am that student and I try to keep up that score.
Okay, my question is, why are you talking about marks if it is about learning?
It is learning, but you see, the way people perceive you is, people perceive student is through their marks. If you score good, then you're a good student. If you score bad, then you're a bad student. Simple.
Okay, so my question is, within your friends, if you're sitting, suppose there is no tyranny of parents or social order on you right now, and you're discussing a subject, what is it that you really look for? Let's just look at knowledge from your point of view right now. if you, me, say a common friend is sitting and all three of us are discussing any subject at all, including the subjects that you teach perhaps, what is it that will be of most interest to you?
I'd take the most interest in what others are saying. I'd like to know their opinion on the subject and how do they perceive a certain subject.
And suppose we have already told you what we think about the certain subject, how would you perceive it then? Because you would have a point of view on it, or you don't have a point.
I'd really enjoy it. See, if you're talking about something with so much energy, with so much passion and so much interest, then I'd really be happy that, okay, yeah, there is this person who is actually about a subject and not about the marks.
Okay. Does this happen often?
You see, it does not happen often, but when it does happen, then it is like, it's truly a bliss. I have 3 friends and we consider ourselves intellectuals. So we do keep discussing about such topics. If it is about, and not just about the subjects that are in school or in college, we also discuss about, we also discuss about movies. That's where we, kind of argue with each other or have debates. Okay, this movie, this character, or this movie and this character should have framed that way. Or, we discuss about direction. So, yes, I really enjoy doing that.
Okay. This is interesting because I was just going to give you the same example around, I think 3 or 4 years back. I was talking to my kid and we were watching TV and I was telling her, I belong to the communication industry. I am in advertising. I've been a corporate film producer, done a lot of things, written a feature film. It's been released, but I've done a lot of stuff. As a writer, you get a lot of opportunities to, at least I did, to try a lot of different things. I didn't stick the course. I quit the industry because it demanded too much of work and I was doing very well for myself. So I didn't want to invest that time and energy there. But I was describing what was happening on screen in terms of how it is shot, what really happens, and behind the scenes while sitting and watching either the film or this, and how a writer thinks, how a director thinks, how a cinematographer brings something to the equation. Mm-hmm. What role does lighting play? I found that of course she keeps changing her mind every second day on what she wants to become. She's now reached the last year of school, so she keeps changing every now and then. I want to do this, I want to do that. Most times unclear about what she wants to do. My understanding is that a subject needs to be delved into if at all you want to do well in it. Irrespective of what marks you're getting in the subject. I myself was I think around first class most of the time, most of my life, and was quite comfortable in it. The 80 plus guys were people who we stayed away from. So it was very known that he's doing well for himself and we don't want. So we were happy being what we were. We were not unintelligent. So now this is one thing I want to ask you on. In your day and age, when everybody else is judging students by their marks, in our days, it wasn't the case at all. Do you think it is a better way to look at things? If a kid is interested in something, what are they learning and how are they learning? What is their grasp of the subject? How can we support that through systematic and open-ended approaches also? So if he wants to, I used to read a lot of books. Right? I used to get thrashed for reading books morning, afternoon, evening, night. And books were story books, not every other book. So now I became a writer. Now I can see the thread. At that point, I had no clue. You were trying to escape getting beaten and reading one more book. Or going to so-and-so library and convincing that uncle they allow me to borrow 2 books in a day instead of 1. Because you were paying for 1 book a day and he would say, no, nothing doing in that. Guy wasn't educated or anything. He was like a normal Gujarati fellow running a library. He said, no, nothing doing in. So what I'm trying to tell you is that when there is passion, how do you, as a teacher and as a student in the terms of student fraternity, how do you look at knowledge for yourself in a more deeper way, besides these debates?
You see, when I teach, I don't really account marks into it. See, I don't tell my students, okay, yeah, you have to score this much, you have to score this, you have to score that. Whenever I teach, I always have this one rule of students having the textbook with themselves.
Okay.
Each student should have their own textbook, each student should have their own pencil. And when they have the textbook and their own pencil, then they write about the meanings. Then they really are into the subject, then they really listen to.
Yeah.
And that is what matters. You see, if you don't understand something, you will not be able to write about it. The question, aega nahi aega, that is a different question. That is a question for another day. But when I teach, I really do look into the subject. I really do dive into the ocean and I tell them, okay, yeah, this is the thing, this is like this. And if you have any doubts, you can tell me. And while being a student, now you see, now since I am a teacher, I think I have this boon and this curse of knowing how the teacher teaches. So I kind of know when teacher is, kind of stressing on the subject a little more, kind of stressing on the topic a little more. I know that it is important and I have to pay attention to it. So, and while learning also, I try to absorb most of it. And since I'm a teenager, I do also let few things slide.
Okay. Interesting, because you put in a new angle that as a student you also know what a teacher is thinking, and
Exactly.
so what led you to teaching is my first question, and then I want you to talk a little about non-academic students that you have, people who are interested in learning for a different reason perhaps, or maybe they are not part of the regular system. If you can talk about that.
What led me to teaching was one fine day I was at a class. So, there I was teaching my fellow batchmates. I was, I don't know, I was maybe revising the entire thing for them, or I was just saying it out loud. So while I was doing this, the teacher over there saw that I was doing something like this, and then the teacher gave me a bigger platform. They said, okay, if you are able to teach 2 students, try with 5. And while trying with 5, I was with them, I joined them, and with 5 students, then it became 10 students, then it became 15 students, then it became 50 students. We grew from a very small thing to a fairly large thing, I think.
Yeah. And what about your non-academic students? What is the difference when you are teaching somebody who's wanting to learn Marathi for learning Marathi, or at least becoming a little better at communication in Marathi? Do you have students like those who are?
It is sad, but I don't.
But you said that you teach people across all ages.
See, that I have started just now, and people like them have shown less interest in this. So
Okay.
right now, I don't have anybody who wants to learn Marathi for the sake of it. Right now, I only have students who want to learn Marathi for the sake of marks.
Yeah. What a terrible thing that is.
I know it is. It is.
Okay. On the teaching front, what has teaching given to you as a student? As a student, what have you gained from your experiences as a teacher, besides the fact that you know what other teachers are stressing about and why they are doing so? But in terms of discipline, in terms of respect for subjects, because I see my kid complaining very often that too much of homework, too much of this to do, too much of that to do. And even if I don't put any pressure, I think there is enough pressure by the world and the peers that you're already doing this. And I think I have to get her away from studies more often than not. So how do you
Being a
perceive this?
teacher, first, it has given me a lot of confidence. See, when I teach a class of 50 students, I know what I'm talking about. And that gives me a lot of confidence. After confidence, it has given me public speaking skills. I can speak in a room full of people without any hesitation. And then, it has also given me the art of storytelling, the way you tell things to certain people. There are students, who just don't want to listen to you just because they don't want to listen to you. It's not that they have some personal enmity with you, or just they don't want to learn the subject or something like that. But then when you tell these kids stories in a different way, just, spark it up a little bit, then they listen to you. So the art of storytelling and my confidence, yes, it has shooted up.
Okay. You haven't become overconfident, I hope.
No.
Okay. How do people perceive you now that you are into teaching, your family, other people? Do they take credit away from you saying, anyway, your grandmother was a principal, what's the big deal? Or do they give you credit for working?
My grandmother was retired back in 2009.
Okay.
Today it is 2023. So it is a lot of gap. It is like 14, 15 years now. So people don't immediately connect with it, but once they know me, once they know my family, then they say, okay, yeah, your grandmother was the principal of a school and you're teaching now. So yeah, that happens very less, and that only happens with people who actually know my family also. But people who only know me, then yes, they really do respect me a lot, because you see, teaching is a very white collar job, I believe. Teaching is helping people, and people, people who consider it as a business are teaching is taken as a business also, like so many different coaching centers, and then they charge lakhs of fees. But for me, teaching has always been a service. It will never be a business for me. And while I'm a teacher, people do put a lot of respect on my name. There is a lot
Are
of
you
love
going,
from students and a lot of respect from them too.
so you're going to be the world's poorest teacher, is it?
Maybe, but I'm happy doing it.
Wonderful, wonderful. One of the things I used to tell people who used to come and ask me what to do among relatives, friends, is that if you can do something 16 hours a day without being paid for it, then you know that you'll do well in it. One of the drawbacks is that one of the uh, family friends we had went and told his son, we shall never ask Bunty for advice again. And well, that guy is doing okay, but seems unhappy. And sometimes I wish I told him once, I said, had you picked up something that you really loved, which he did. Like when I asked him, what can you do 16 hours a day? He had an answer. So after that, why do you need to go and ask somebody else what to do? You already have been blessed with the ability to look at a subject from a different point of view. What are the problems you face as a teacher most? And what would your advice be? Now I'm asking this question from a values perspective. What are the things that helps a student learn better if they embark on a learning journey of any kind?
Number one thing that happens with students and teachers is, teachers usually are twice or thrice the age of a student. So teachers are not usually open to what the students are saying. Sometimes they just disregard them or discard everything that they say. But when student is saying something, as a teacher, I try to pay the most attention towards it, because you
Oh,
see, if a student is saying something and if a student has an original idea, then I really need to know about where the idea is coming from and why the student is saying something like this. And when they do this, I am able to understand how far the student will able to understand, or how good he'll be able to grasp whatever I'm trying to say. So according to that, I increase or decrease my levels of explaining, and then I explain that to the student.
wonderful. So that is the most important thing that is required in a student-teacher relationship.
Yes, before speaking something, you have to listen to the person. And if you are not listening to the person you have to teach, then really there is nothing that can help you, because you see, feedbacks will also be provided by them for you. If they understand something or they don't understand something, they are going to tell you. If you don't listen to them, then it's game over.
Besides teaching, what are the other things that you like to do, and how do they influence this part of your life?
Besides teaching, I love to hang out with my friends. I love to watch movies. I love watching shows. Since it's monsoons, I love to go on treks and I love go cycling. So yeah, this is kind of my life. And I do social media management also, as a, just because I like doing it. I don't look at it as a career perspective or something. Right now I'm in my second year of BBA. So I don't really take things that seriously, but I only do things like I enjoy doing them. Otherwise, there is no pressure, or I'm not forced to do something.
Okay. In terms of teaching, now that you spend so much time on it, how do you balance your time for yourself and the various things you do? Is there a discipline that you follow which helps you in your student life as well, or how does it work?
Well, yes. See, April and May are the months where I am the most free, you would say. But from June to March, I follow a schedule, and classes only happen at a specific time. And I have to be there at that fixed time. Otherwise, it is not going to work out. And even if I have college, I have to go to college. If I have to study for something for my own, then yes, I study with a schedule.
Your other friends are also teachers?
No, none of my friends are teachers.
One last thing, in terms of finding a balance between the race for marks and building a career and knowledge, what according to you as a student teacher, because you are in both shoes at this point of time, how do you think one should balance oneself?
See, one should balance for marks by studying everything that is in the book, and one should balance for career and knowledge by studying everything that is outside the book. So,
Okay.
if you understand the outer world, or if you are really interested in, say, cars, so you have to observe who's a person who's making a car, or a car showroom, or go talk to those people. But if it is marks, then you have to study for the books.
Okay. That was an easy answer. Like expected, I guess teachers know all the answers. Thank you for this short and sweet chat. You're very quick with your answers. I can barely keep pace by asking questions. So I enjoyed this chat thoroughly. Thank you, Kashish, for your time. I'll
Yes.
see you around.
Only one thing that I'd like to add is that, students are only 20% of the population, but they are 100% of your future. So we really have to, as a teacher, I really do believe that is my duty for molding the future like that. See, I am also very young and I am also very inexperienced, but I do my bit, and I really want to do something better for the society.
Wonderful. On that noble thought, I wish you all the best.
Thank
Thank you so much.
you.
Bye.